Hey everybody, welcome to G4G on YouTube. I'm Napalm Dawn, and today we're touching base with a game that I haven't featured on the channel in quite some time, but this is a rather serious issue. So we're going to be in Marvel Future Fight, and the reason why we're going to be discussing it today is because the community is calling for a spending boycott. If you followed my channel or are just playing other Marvel games, you will know that there is a similar-ish boycott happening in relation to Marvel Strike Force. It looks like it's going to happen again in Marvel Future Fight, and this one's going to be rough because there's a new paywall character. I need to look at it and decide, because I have about 10 or 9 days left on my, what they call the monthly sub. I have already dropped the X-Men sub a while back. There's no reason for me to get mutants right now. But with the Warriors update, I was keeping my standard sub rolling and building up some of their exclusive characters. Well, I'm due up relatively soon, and it's going to be soon enough that it would technically be in the heart of the boycott. So let's get into it and talk about it. So this post by Puppet Titan is on the Marvel Future Fight forums, which are the Netmarble ones. We also have the update post over here. And this post has gotten quite a lot of heat on it. There's a lot of angry faces in response to this particular update post. Let's see if anybody's saying anything. Yeah, 907 angry bunnies. I mean, it's so far and away above everything else. I mean, okay, 77 there. 80, 83, and then the sads. If you combine these two, 907 plus 12, just it absolutely clobbers. This is super bad. So some of the latest comments: stop whining over a mode which received a lot of hate before and appreciate we get fucking Viper and Taskmaster for free. I'm so angry about Danger Room moving to the end days of the game, getting worse and worse every update. Enjoy improvements in quotes saying that they're tone deaf. What are you doing, Netmarble? VIP 8 here, but now no more spending. Stuff. Brazilian. Portuguese. So dumb at the end of the patch notes. They say, hope you enjoy this February update. The next update will be here before you know it, with even more characters. As if characters is the answers. Seriously, what's wrong with you devs? So, let's talk about what we're talking about. So Puppet Titan says he's not really upset if he loses his star agent status, and he seems to still have it. But let's talk about his points. Crowd control nerf means an indirect major damage to so many characters. Before one argues about World Boss Ultimate being far too easy ever since Netmarble changed the striker behavior, you gotta stop right there, because I'm not going to talk solely about strikers. As stated in the patch notes, every kind of crowd control that affects world bosses makes you less effective every time you use it. So RPG players are familiar with that. It's called Diminishing Returns. Let's take World of Warcraft as an example. If you were in a battlegrounds way back in vanilla, and there was a rogue who had a cheap shot ability and then a kidney shot ability, and both of those had a way of either stunning you or making you disoriented, if you didn't have diminishing returns, one or two rogues could essentially immobilize you for like an entire match, as they was just trade stuns and blinds and confusion and all that. There was once a story about a Horde player who was in a PvP server, and he was questing in one of the earlier contested areas of the game where it's part Horde, part Alliance, and two Alliance priests took turns mind controlling this poor Horde guy and used him to tank their quests by mind controlling him and manipulating him to essentially be the tank of their questing. The dude said, I just went and made a sandwich because there was nothing I could do. Think about that. in a game where if you could time for... I mean, look, let's say we face it all the time in PvP with Spider-Man, where you could essentially spend the entire timeline battle webbed. Now, more often than not, it's my Wolverine that's up against a Spider-Man, and his innate healing pretty much means he's going to survive, and I can actually put the phone or the tablet down and make a sandwich while that particular battle occurs, because every now and then, maybe once every 10 or 15 seconds, you'll get a decent attack in. Spider-Man can't heal. Eventually, you're going to win, or you just bring web immunity. I'm not saying that I disagree with this point. I'm just explaining that he's running into a talk of diminishing returns, which a lot of games have. But anyway, as stated in the patch note, every kind of CC will be less effective, or you can actually just say those skills become useless after 5 times. While this doesn't sound like a big deal, since you can just breeze through World Boss without even using a striker, this change will nerf characters so hard that they'll be unusable in World Boss Ultimate. Doctor Strange. Number 1. How can Doc Strange clear a single World Boss Ultimate if all of his skills is stationary, while the boss can't be locked in his time freeze anymore? Doctor Strange will be unplayable because of the World Boss constantly moving. Yeah, I can remember back when I was way newbier than I am now. Doc Strange, and a relatively built Doc Strange, is one of the things that helps you get out of the noob zone into the mid-core zone. If Doctor Strange becomes this useless, yeah, I mean, way back in the day, Doc Strange, Ancient One, and Mordo, or Caecilius, I forget which one was the final one there, was a really, really good team-up, and one that I used to break out of being, pretty newbie in a lot of things. Before you even speak, wait for the update to go live. Try using Doctor Strange against Thanos WU Phase 2, and you can see how frustrated it is, even though Thanos rarely moves. Scarlet Witch. People build her mainly because of her ability to lock down the boss like 100% of the time. My Scarlet Witch is trash. She's nowhere, unfortunately. But thanks to the update, her main value will be degenerated. On top of that, people who constantly use Scarlet Witch will have a hard time to use her due to mind control being nerfed. Either she'll run out of time or die so easily. I may enjoy that in timeline battle, but I honestly only timeline battle now when I have a quest to do it. I've just given up. I used to be a full ranked PvPer. Now I'm down at bronze because I've let myself disintegrate so badly. Rachel Summers, one of the characters who will perhaps get the most hate after this update is rolled out. People spend crystals on her just to get her as a niche CC striker. She's not that reliable for clearing WBU in the first place. Now Netmarble tries to murder her by taking her only value. Luna Snow, and this one I think he's really got a point here. The Netmarble baby got nerfed? Yeah, of course. Although in the patch notes it says only mind control will be affected by the change, but I believe it will affect all other CCs, just like they saw with the test APKs. By taking away Luna Snow's Enticed, it means she will die faster even before Ebony Maw enters his second phase. And there is actually a Reddit meme that is going around now about him going from like the easiest World Boss Ultimate out there to now, there it is. Yeah. 5.8 update, Ebony Maw be like, World Boss Ultimate with mind control, I'm growing stronger. Yeah. That could be bad. To make things even worse, crowd control will have no place in any content in MFF apart from Shadowlands, PvP. Everybody will bring their debuff remover, giant boss raid, never affected by CCs, alliance battles. Never mind, they also nerf it in this mode. What's the point of having an expensive CC character if they're now on the shelf as useless? Lazy change to Alliance Battle Extreme with 0 improvement of rewards. So basically they up the cap, but you don't get rewards any higher than your 100,000 mark. Now I push my ABX because I wasn't a very ABX focused alliance for a while. Right around the new year, there was some shuffling, and they dropped me down, and I went from... there was a middle ground that I had in my alliances in this cluster. And when I was there, I could be a top 5 with some effort, a top 10 kind of casually all the time. Then I got put into one where I was a real bottom dweller, and then they shuffled me to a point where I'm top 2 without barely lifting a finger. I'm a little upset about that. But ABX is something where I consider the game to be a lot of progression. Sort of quote-unquote endgame. So I push beyond my 100k. I try to make my scores increase. My Blast Hero Day is great, thanks to Cable, and my No Restriction Day, thanks to Cable, is great. Certain things are definitely a little trash for me still, but I'm working on them. I try to get better, so I'm one of those people who doesn't get 100k and stop. Because I kind of consider this like endgame rating, because I'm not in an Alliance Conquest Guild or Tournament Guild or anything like that. But ABX is one of the most loved game modes of all players, despite how crappy the reward is. I would agree. I play it for the challenge, not anything to do with the rewards. If they threw literally a hidden ticket at me, I'd still do it. This is mainly because in ABX you get to try out your favorite characters, see how much they score. Some people who aren't a whale also love it because it's the only competitive PvE mode in the game. Trying to compete with other players means you have a reason to go back to MFF and build your roster. I agree. When there's major updates, I'm like, is any meta changing? You know, is anything going on over here? And I'm like, for example, I'm really looking forward to Speed Villain changing for me. Ghost before Electro was garbage. Electro was only slightly better garbage. The thought of maybe somebody standing in for Electro would mean the world to me. Just like my combat villain, when it was Carnage, I tried so hard to make my Carnage be what is requested of a good Carnage, and I still sometimes got clobbered, didn't always get a good score. So when combat villain changed, I was, pretty happy about it. So ABX is a mode I like. The fact that they'll increase the ABX limit while not allowing characters to cancel Frostbeast's Roar, which I definitely admit I don't know very well. I know there's statistics on it, and I actually have a full-on webpage devoted to saying, like, who can do it and when. It's, a post similar to this that basically says, here's who you use for every mode. By the way, do this at like 1 minute, 10 seconds, you cancel the roar. I need to pay attention to it so that I get better. But he's pointing out that while not allowing a character to cancel Frostbeast's Roar means that CTP of Rage is the only thing that matters in ABX. Previously, one with less CTP of Rage, who's skilled enough, can top players who fully decked out with tons of Rage and premium cards. This happened because of Roar canceling. It's the only thing that differentiates skilled players like not me versus button mashing players. Me, but I know the right patterns. But sadly, taking away the ability to cancel Roar means you have to get a CTP of Rage or you just don't play it at all. Not to mention, for your hard work, you must build your roster for ABX. The rewards just stay meh. It stays the same even after 3 years since ABX introduced back in version 2.5. Wow, ABX has really been around 3 years? Yeah, man, that kind of blows my mind that 2017 is actually... It's far away at this point. It's hard to believe that. I mean, I know we're only in early 2020, but yeah, at least 2 months worth of 2017 is 3 years old now. So before we proceed to the boycott, I at least want to advise some things in regards to WU and ABX changes. If Netmarble really don't want players to breeze through WBU because of how easy the strikers are, then just revert it. By doing this way, players will not be able to abuse striker abilities anymore while still being able to enjoy it with the characters they have. Instead of doing a double nerf, increasing striker cooldown to 10 seconds is already a decrease in striker's efficiency significantly. So if you can't revert strikers back to the original state, then I think an extra cooldown without the crowd control nerf is more than enough. For the love of God, please just buff ABX rewards. Whales are rage quitting because they realize they need to gamble for more CTPs of rage in order to be competitive in V5.8. And this will also discourage free-to-play and casual spenders to build their roster for ABX. What's the point of going beyond 100k if they can't compete with Super Whales anyway? 311 likes. This is ratioed pretty good too. I mean, 133 over there and 311 over there. I mean, we're talking 440 is compared to an insignificant amount of disagreeing faces. Basically, do this. Change your review to a star. Leave bad comments and everything. We did this back during the loot box fiasco a couple of winters ago, and it's time to do it again. So let's take a look at what we're getting. So we're getting Zemo and Viper and Taskmaster, the Hydra uniform for Captain America, and a new skin for Doc Ock, which is cool. Here's Taskmaster, likely in relation to the Black Widow movie. However, the Black Widow movie is so far off that I don't think they're super tied to each other. Let's see what we had in the event shop. This is the first event in a long time that I admit I did it like every single day. I didn't drop a day, no matter how tired I was when I play Marvel Future Fight, which is late at night. I definitely made sure I did this every single day. So I think I've got the max. I had 560. Let me know if I seem to be missing a day over there. I sort of wish they'd be a little more transparent about what the rewards will be. Like maybe show you the screen but disable the purchasing until the event is over. It's just kind of nice to know what you're playing for. Potentially, maybe it is out there on their forums and I just don't know about it, where they say, hey, you know, here's an event and this is what's coming. I don't know. I don't really look at their website very much, but it looks like the continued event quest is just 4 quests. Clear 10 stages, danger room, upgrade cards, which is good for dimension missions, and upgrade gear. We have a bonus mission of Zemo, Viper, and Taskmaster, which is wholly expected over there. If we go to the store and we go to you know, I kind of like the old store a little bit better. I don't really like the new UI for getting to the store. We have a Crossbones Secret Empire suit, which I'm definitely going to skip for now. We have the... this is who my Doc Ock is now, and this character's nowhere. I use him for absolutely nothing. This uniform is a little bit more Doc Ock than, say, Superior Spider-Man, and it keeps the theme of a Speed Spider-Man, so it changes Doc Ock over to Speed. This one I am going to purchase because I think this one might wind up being handy. Red Skull has a Hydra armor, which I'm going to wait on, and Captain America has Hydra Supreme. You'll notice he's grayed out because I just never have the time to do the stupid story mode, even though I'm pushing it. This is my Captain America right now. This, I believe, is going to change him to be a villain. And let's look at the effects. So, Team Suit, 50% rate when hit, applies to self. All attacks go up, all speeds go up, crit rate up, removes incapacitation, 100% chance for immunity to all damage. The Hydra uniform, which is pretty badass, converts him to a blaster and says a 10% increase in all attacks, which we do not have on these. Activation rate, 50% chance when hit, 100% chance for immunity to all damage. Cooldown time is 20 seconds, so That's the same over there. Immunity for 3 seconds. Immunity for 3. All attacks up by 20. Speed by 1. Critical rate by 20. Removes incapacitation. And all attacks by 15. So, it is an upgrade if you're just looking at straight Cap. Now, this changes him to Blaster. And it's probably going to change him to Villain. So it'll be interesting to see if that uniform winds up breaking into Blaster Villain Daily. Hydra Supreme. Dominable Will. Gross Score. Blast Human Male Supervillain. Yep. Increases damage dealt to superheroes. Increases damage dealt to supervillains. Okay, so it's going to be interesting to see who he displaces over there. Now, right now, my Blast villain is Magneto. That's who I take for Blaster Villain Day. So I'll be looking forward to trying a maxed out Cap as compared to my non-maxed out Magneto. So, taking a look at all the way over here to the new characters. Here we go. So here is Taskmaster. He is combat. He's probably going to be villain. Yep, he's villain. Increases damage to superheroes. Crit rate. Skills. Decreases all damage received. Wire Slice is a bind. Flawless Strategy is a T2 passive. Applies to Weapon Master allies. Guaranteed crit rate. Ignores target dodge. Increases skill damage. Use Wire Slice to increase the distance from the enemy. Cancel it. And follow up with Arrow Rain to remove the rolling motion. Which alters maybe? Which allows use... Okay, the little blue stacks thing is in the way. Which allows use of the skill a little quicker. Shock Bombardment. There's a stun, Arrow Rain, shock damage. It buffs his attacks. Masterclass Merc. A stun, decrease down on the enemy, and an invincible, absolute dodge. Photographic Reflexes, dodge rate up. Increases all attacks. So, I think I might actually go with a dodge-based CTP on him. At least for the beginning. If he's not that good, you don't want to dump a rage or anything like that in somebody that's just not that great. Yeah, there's my poor Silver Surfer and Negasonic that I have no movement on. And actually, here's my sad little Crossbones. Like, who has ever really touched Crossbones, to be honest? Zemo. He is your monthly. Which, oh, wait a minute. Oh, I had been in earlier, that's right. I was like, yeah, where did my monthly go? I didn't have the chance, but I forgot I was in earlier. And I did use it. That was actually kind of stupid. So here he is. He is villain speed. 13th Baron of the Zemo family, molded by his father's desire to rule the world. He fights against heroes with his strategic genius, incredible sword skills. Alright, so, as a leader, applies to only villain allies, 25% increase of all attacks. That's cool. Bloodblade. 50% chance when attacking, deals bleed damage, removes elasticity at tier 2. Guaranteed dodge rate up, increased bleed effect, increased skill damage. Physical damage. 20% burn damage every second, and physical attack. Stuns, silence, incapacitation, and removes active buffs. Applies to self. Attacks up, and immunity to damage. You got a stun, a decrease in defenses, a paralysis, which ignores immunity, but only 1 second. And his 5 is a stun, incapacitation. This guy seems pretty good. Yeah, I'm going to be interested in that one. And here's Viper, which, ironically enough, I did just see the Wolverine on TV last night. I don't know that I've always liked the way they represented Viper in that movie. I mean, it's cool to see some new characters we've never seen in the movies before, but she was good. She was good as an evil... She was a good villain in the movie. Don't get me wrong. I just don't know that she was representative of a good Viper. But Toxic Queen increases poison damage to all allies. With all allies, excuse me. Snakeskin, immunity to poison. 90% chance to become immune to poison damage. Venomous Call. For herself, increases guaranteed crit rate. Skill damage, bonus damage is up when attacking an enemy with a poison effect applied. Increases guaranteed dodge rate. Poison by physical on that one too. Summons illusions and attacks up 50% chance of immunity. Poison damage, paralysis, poison damage up, and her 5 deals poison damage again, a stun, decrease in poison resistance, and invincible. My guess is that you're going to probably lead with that and go into other things. I'm definitely going to pursue that one too, because it's nice to finally get some of those poison obelisks out of the way and actually begin to use them for something. I know there are some characters that definitely make use of it. I think actually one of the Doc Ock ones did. But there you go. You can actually use your Alliance ones to get them, which is nice. And whenever that happens, I like to split my 50s and 20s. So since Taskmaster was already close to a ding, he gets the 20, she gets the 50. So jury's still out on the Zemo one. I don't really know if that's going to push him into anything particularly fancy for Red Skull. Or excuse me, not Zemo, Red Skull. Let's see what we get. Just decreases damage. 30% rate when attacking. Yeah, that's a tough call. I don't really know if this one's going to push him into being meta there or anything like that. If you guys, as I'm scrolling through this section, happen to know of any characters that you think I should T2 because they are all the way up there, I kind of feel like Ant-Man is worth a T2, but he's not really strong in the Universal meta right now. But I always feel that this guy had potential. I know a lot of people like Blue Marvel. I never seem to. I think I'm going to pursue ranking this Doc Ock up and see if he takes over Speed Day. There's my Star-Lord, there's my Wasp. I don't know if those two should be tier 2'd for anything. And I kind of have heard some good things about a T2 Sabretooth, but I've never pursued it. And then here are my native T2s. That this is on my shortcoming area. I got better in the game after Odin's time had passed, so I never really pursued Odin. I know I should go after Scarlet Witch. I think APOC is meta for combat villain. I haven't pursued him yet, but I could very easily be talked into that. Strife, my Strife in Marvel Future Fight is good. He's not good in Marvel Strike Force. Adam Warlock and Doom, I don't know if these two are worth a push. And then, here you go. I know a lot of people are going to be like, wait a minute, you didn't push these meta characters like Scarlet Witch, but your Ultron is T2? Yeah, in my newbier days, my Ultron was actually my first T2. And it's a surprise, man. Nebula, there's a team-up of Nebula, Gamora, and somebody else. I think it's maybe Thana. I forget who it is. This Nebula is surprisingly good. I don't remember what the team up is, but somebody, like, I keep the primary of the team up dies, and then Nebula takes over, and then Nebula's actually fucking amazing the rest of the fight. I'm like, wow, I gotta remember that she actually does really, really good. I just don't remember the team up. It may be Thanos, Nebula, and Gamora. I'm not exactly too sure. Let me find a world boss over here and see if that's the team up I'm thinking of. Not that I'm going to do it against him, but because obviously we need energy for that one. Where are you? Oh, wait a minute. I T2'd her. There she is. Yeah, it's Daddy's Girls. I was right. It's this one. I shouldn't be losing Thanos though, so maybe it's not that one. It's not, I don't think it's Blue Men Group, because these two aren't built. I think it's Daddy's Girls, and occasionally, I think it was Daddy's Girls against some higher world boss ultimates that I have access to, and Thanos splats for some reason, and then Nebula carries the rest of it, which is really, really shocking to me. But yeah, that's what we got going for the update over here. I definitely plan to join in the boycott. I need to reevaluate things in about 9 or 10 days when my sub comes up, and decide, you know, how much I want to pursue the paywall character in this, because I really just, bad, no Squirrel Master. I feel like the movie Half Baked, where he's looking at Nasty Nate's calendar picture on the wall. He's like, no, burning crotch of no. I hated Ghost, and Electro really wasn't that much better. I don't enjoy Villain Speed Days because of those two. But I gotta see how Spider-Man Doc Ock works out. Maybe I won't need Zemo and can certainly wait over there. But let me know what you think of the characters and the uniforms. If you have any input whatsoever about the roster that you saw over there, and you're like, oh my god, dude, you didn't T2 so-and-so, you really should. I always liked this character. Just, that is such a cool effect. And the same effect is on Gamora's cape. I really wish they could buff Singularity to being meta, because I just feel like she'd be fun. But, yeah, if you see any of the Warriors, think I need to push them, or Slapstick over here, or any of these characters, if you think any of them are really worth a T2. I know the original Wasp has her places for removing debuffs and everything. I've always been curious about Juggernaut, Kitty Pryde, and Sabretooth, if they were worth it. Wasn't really ever too sure there. So, let's join in the boycott, folks. Let's tell Netmarble that they need to change things, because these striker changes are really, really bad. And it's not actively as money grubby as the loot boxes was, but it's passively money grubby, because a lot of people spent money to get characters to a certain point to make them good, and all of a sudden they're not going to be good anymore because of their nerfs. So it's now like you've passively, it's like buying a house and then a tornado coming by and like ripping through the house. You're like, great, I spent $500,000 on this house and it's gone. So I also wonder if he'll take over Speed Hero Day from Luna at T3. My guess is probably not, but we'll see. Thanks for watching the video, everybody. Take care.